investigation is, what is an important cause of the Trail of Tears that people need to know about today? We just talked about a bunch of causes of the Trail of Tears. All of them were correct. We now need to isolate what the important ones are in order to use, to write to the National Park Service and tell them to use it on a marker on the Trail of Tears like land where it happened, right? So we need to isolate what you think is the important cause that they should write on their sign. So what I'm going to have you do while I'm calling the library and asking someone to bring up another projector is come with your partners, come up with 3 different important causes of the Trail of Tears that we could use for our 3 different claims in our Weigh the Evidence packet. We want to use the sentence starter that indicates we're answering the central question. So we're going to start with an important cause, and you might want to write the sentence starter at the top of this sheet so you remember to actually use it with your claim. An important cause of the Trail of Tears, and I'm going to abbreviate because we're still writing notes, although you know there's no abbreviation in final writing. An important cause of the Trail of Tears was ... So that's the sentence starter we're going to use in front of each claim to make sure that we are directly answering the central question. What did you come up with? What is one claim that we could make about important causes of the Trail of Tears? Jade?
That white people in power thought that Native Americans were uncivilized.
This goes in your claim number 1 box. This is the first claim that we are going to focus on for our Weigh the Evidence charts. If we were going to write about this claim, what source could we flip back to in our historical investigation packet that would provide evidence to support this claim? Flip back through your sources. I see a couple people doing it. I'm looking for a source in our packet that could help us prove that this claim is correct. Regard, go ahead.
Source 1.
Source 1. Okay, source 1. What is source 1 called? What is that?
First annual message to Congress. Jackson's 1829 first annual message to Congress.
Okay, so Jackson's. So we're gonna say no. We're gonna say source 1. But I'm gonna tell you right now that because we're 8th graders and we're going to use source numbers in our notes, it is my expectation when I see your final writing that I do not see a single source number. You've been doing this for 3 years. You're pros at it by now, right? The National Park Service did not sit down in Miss Sabella's class and do our investigation with us. They have no idea what source 1 is. So you have to actually use info from the source, like BN said. Jackson's annual, or 1829 annual message to Congress. That's what it's called. Okay? So source 1, what is a quote from source 1 that shows us that white people in power thought the Cherokee were uncivilized? One quote from source 1 that shows us this. I see people looking back at source 1, trying to find a quote. You guys are awesome. Sarah, did you come up with something?
I did, but I was going to use it right. It said, gradually reclaiming them from a wandering life, a portion of southern tribes have mingled much with whites and made some progress in the arts of civilized life.
Okay, so that is a quote. Let's see. So, a portion of the southern tribes have mingled much with the whites and made some progress in the arts of civilized life. That quote is actually proving the opposite. You could keep that in mind for our counterpoint, but that one's saying that they have become kind of civilized. So we want a quote showing that they are not civilized, according to Andrew Jackson. Zainab, why don't you try?
Could I use another source?
Sure.
Source 5.
Okay, source 5 is another option. So what did you find in source 5, Zainab?
In the first paragraph, it says the Cherokee are a barbarous people. They cannot live in contact with a civilized community.
How does this quote show that white people in charge thought the Cherokee were uncivilized? In other words, what is the reasoning that ties this quote to our claim? How does this quote show that? Bien?
Like, because they called Cherokee barbers, which means crazy.
And who is they? Who is the person that wrote this source 5? Anyone? Let's help Ian out.
Indian.
Who wrote source 5? Someone raise your hand and give me a detail about the writer of source 5. Right? Because we said white people in power. So we need to prove that that's correct. So who wrote source 5?
And
Lewis Cass.
Lewis Cass. And who was Lewis Cass?
Governor.
Governor. So Lewis Cass. So this quote was said by, and he was saying, what was he saying, Bian?
That the Cherokees are barbarous people,
What do we say barbarous means?
like crazy and what's that? Mad, sad.
Savage. Okay, so he was saying the Cherokee are crazy and savage. Okay, so Lewis Cass, this was quote was said by Lewis Cass, the governor of Michigan, and he was saying the Cherokee are crazy and savage. Right? We proved that it was a white person in power, and we proved that the thoughts were that the Cherokee were uncivilized. Right? Excellent job linking the evidence and the claim.